Well, the real story of this fund is the generosity of foundations and corporations and individuals. We were able to put together a process by which we could accept funds, accept proposals, manage them, bring the community into a conversation about how to allocate them in an inclusive and informed way. And it really was a remarkable sort of coming together of generosity and the organizing capacity to pull together and get something big done.
This is probably the first fund that I can think of where, of the 20-member advisory board, only 8 represent funders, and then 8 represent community voices, and then the 4 coordinating organizations make up the remainder of the 20-person advisory board. I think it reflects highly on our philanthropic and corporate community that they were willing to share that responsibility with so many community voices.
Those 20 advisory committee members came from across our region and were deeply rooted in community. And they were the ones that could help us deploy those resources in a really equitable way. Donors care about the causes that they have funded for years, and they knew what they needed. But what they were asking is, who's on the front line? Who is on the front line that I can help to support? And that's what this fund was designed to do, was to be a centralized place.
We asked them literally 2 questions. What do you need and how would you spend resources? And then we tried to raise money around that to support them. And we set it up strategically to be a response and recovery fund.
So the first phase was designed to be fast and responsive and to address our most vulnerable people in our community. And those are the people that just live on the brink, that don't have that cushion.
In those efforts, we funded, I think, 261 organizations. When we moved into a recovery phase of the grant-making initiative, then we really began to look for collaborative efforts. Ultimately, we got contributions from more than 100 foundations and corporations and more than 10,000 individuals.
We were able to do so much more by pulling together than if we had done this differently. We were able to make decisions more strategically. We were able to uncover and find needs that we wouldn't have found otherwise. We were able to strategically invest in some really thoughtful partnerships to leverage resources. And we were able, I think, in the process to build up our civic capacity to withstand this kind of crisis in the future.
This was a community-wide effort that was unlike anything I have seen in Kansas City. It was large foundations, it was companies, it was individuals giving $25 if they could.
We started with an initial goal of $10 million. Within a couple weeks, we had surpassed that $10 million. We were quickly approaching $15 million. We had broadcasters across the region come together for a one day of giving that raised another $1 million just on that one day, that was then matched again by the generosity of some funders. It says a lot about Kansas City, the Kansas City spirit that we have. To watch a community really rally and say, we're going to tackle this issue, has been really refreshing.
It proves what Kansas City is capable of when the chips are down. Our whole community came together, and for me, that is what philanthropy is all about.
It is an honor to get to do the work that I do on a daily basis, and I've really felt that sense of privilege to be a part of this effort since the pandemic began, to get to help the thousands of households that we're helping as a part of that effort.
I am just so proud of this town. The generosity of the people who stepped forward to invest in real and urgent human needs, the speed at which the needs became evident, the scale of the problem, the region-wide nature of the problem, the number of partners who came together, the inclusive way that we made decisions. I've been in public service in this town for 30 years, and this is perhaps the most gratifying experience I've been through, to see people and institutions pull together on a dime to meet real needs in every corner of this region in a way that was extraordinary.